Now this right here from Egyptian yoga is one of the best explanations and charts that basically shows the spread of mythology and philosophy from ancient times to modern times and through the different cultures. Let's get to the root now. Okay, according to the root of this right here, we have Ethiopia. Now, you probably know this symbol as a yin and yang symbol, but it's also a very ancient African sigil or symbol. Now, let's just first deal with this book right here, Egyptian Yoga. And this particular book right here is named Egyptian Yoga. Let's get a shot of the cover right here. Egyptian Yoga. Egyptian Yoga. The Philosophy of Enlightenment. Now, this particular document by Muata Ashby and edited by Karen Clark Ashby. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with this particular document and treatise, Egyptian Yoga, but it's one that we have found to be very, very informative and very, very interesting. And now the brother who has, this is the brother right here, about the author, Dr. Ashby. And he's done a very excellent work, which we know as Egyptian Yoga. And here's an ad for the book, Egyptian Yoga. All right. As well as some Egyptian fonts, and this is one brother who has really contributed to the real work of I peoples and helping us to restore the half of the story that we have lost. But not too many people really refer to this book, and so we decided to present a little treatment of some of the subject matters, like this particular chart right here, like this the spread of mythology and philosophy. Now, when we get to the heart of it, this is, a basic a map, so to speak, and he says from the previous essays, it is possible to understand the enduring influence of ancient Ethiopian and Egyptian religion and philosophy. Though it may not be possible to pinpoint every single historical event which traces the movement of the philosophy or the love of wisdom of oneness. The Europeans, the Eurocentric and Anglo would call it monotheism, but we call it oneness throughout the world. It is possible to determine and correlate the various concurrent themes of each system and to derive a basis of mythological and philosophical unity. Through the study of history, a new picture emerges to our understanding of our religions and the meaning of our existence. Now, regardless of their origins, and some say that these origins actually go back to, the author says, Mars, Africa, Sirius, etc., it is possible to view our own religious origins and religious needs with a sense of commonality, as members of a single human race, which goes beyond any regional differences which might have caused changes in the original teachings. Now, he says that on this particular page, and this is the Philosophy of Enlightenment, Egyptian Yoga. This is the spread of mythology and philosophy. So let's first go to the root. Now, some say that this actually originated, they said, from the universal spirit, or from the one God, whether Yahweh Ahad, Ahadu Amlak in the Ethiopian and Ethiopic church or Christian traditions of the Tewahedo or Orthodox Church, Ethiopian Hebraic root and truth. Some connect that, make a link that this has a Mars, a Sirius, some say Atlantis, or some other civilization they say birthed it. You understand? Birthed it, the culture that we have in Ethiopia and ancient Ethiopia, what we call Ethiopic, or in ancient Egypt, what we call either Kemet or Smai Tawi or Tarseti, so forth and so on. But now, it is from Egypt that, as we see, as it branches out into different directions. We can see a branching out. We can see a branching out as it goes to the north to so-called Greek philosophy and what's mentioned as hermeneutics, or the Rosicrucians and the Druids and what's known as Eurasia. We can see that coming out from its root in Ethiopia and then going to Egypt, following the Nile or the Hapit Valley. Then we also have it go into what's known as Sufi, or the Sufistic, the Sufism in Islam, or the Essenes in the Hebreo or Christianity, or you see the Jesus or Jesus movement, or Kabbalah, you understand, Kabbalah, or the Judaic or Jewish or another branch of the Hebraic movement, or Hinduism. We have it also come out from ancient Egypt into Hinduism, and Hindus Kush, as it's known, and Kush is referring to its Egyptian, Ethiopic, and its real origin in Africa. Buddhism, the same with Buddhism, coming out of Africa, coming out of Egypt, originating from Ethiopia, ancient Ethiopia, or Taoism in China. Taoism also coming out, branching out, or even in Japan, Shinto, the Shinto or Japanawi Hymenot in Japan, and all of this is now in Asia. Now, let's just count this for a moment. We have, how many we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Isn't this interesting? When we read in Revelation about the 7. You understand, those 7 stars. You understand, those 7 candlesticks. This is the illumination, or the religious illumination of these particular ancient cultures right here. But we can see the root clearly is in Africa, you understand, or more precisely in Ethiopia, or the Tob land, the Tobia, the good land, which later the Greeks would call it. The Greeks up here call this land Ethiopis, which mean burnt faces, some say. But really, when we go back to its real etymological origins, we find the archaic of Ethiopia is Ethiopia. So we can see this branching now, going off into different cultures. Now, from the Egypt and Ethiopia root and flowering in Egypt, we have it going from east, crossing the river of Egypt, the river of Ethiopia, and going from the east to the west into the Yoruba culture, and also the Ebo, but the Yoruba culture. And then we have it now coming over here to the Americas. We have it coming into the Americas, the Yoruba culture. We have the Santeria culture as well. We have the Dogon link as well. So this is a very, very good chart that shows the spread of what's known as mythology or philosophy, but also can be ascribed as religious or spiritual teachings. And the Ethiopia and the Egypt rootage of these various religious or spiritual or philosophical or even mythological traditions. So once again, we give thanks, and we're going to touch on this book a little bit more. This is a very important work, and just to show you the cover of this once again, this is This is a work called Egyptian Yoga, the Philosophy of Enlightenment. And we would suggest that ones and ones obtain a copy if they can. Check out the book, and this book is by Muata Ashby and edited by Karen Clark Ashby. Egyptian Yoga. Give thanks. Shalom, Rastafari.